My dad was a mean, angry drunk. He was mean and angry without the drink, to be honest, but with it, he was a black hole of violence and hatred. I was 11 when Mom left us and Dad forbade me to mention her ever again. I remember crying a lot and my dad cuffing me around the back of the head, telling me to man up, and he was sick of my childishness. I hoped my mom would come back one day, but Dad said he had something better. He got me a dog, Barney. I loved Barney with my whole heart. My dad put up with Barney because he kept me busy and out of the house, but the older I got, and the older and bigger Barney got, I noticed he became less tolerant of both of us. Barney was my rock and the only thing in life now that actually loved me. I had a small job that paid for Barney's vet visits, so it wouldn't cost Dad a penny. Barney developed a hip issue. The vet told me he'd need an operation to fix it. I asked the gas station for extra shifts so I could afford it. It was about that time Dad started asking me for money. He couldn't get by anymore on his disability check. I tried to tell him my extra wage was for Barney, but he wouldn't hear it. He'd been drinking, so of course his rage was that much hotter. That was the first time he really hit me. He hit me so hard I blacked out. All I heard as I fell was a weird rushing noise and a distant sound of barking. When I came to, it was dark, and Barney was gone. I begged and pleaded with my dad to tell me where my dog was, but he told me Barney was old, and he'd taken him to a farm upstate, so he could have a better life, and we wouldn't have the bills. I wanted to go to the farm to get him back, but Dad told me not to be stupid. 2 weeks later I got Rosie from the pound. Rosie was a sweet, gentle dog and Dad hated her at first sight. A month later, she had gone to a farm upstate too. I lost it. I was bigger now and able to fight back, but Dad was again fueled by drink, and I guess he just saw me as another annoyance and he didn't hold back this time. I woke up outside, in a lovely green field, a breeze playing lightly across my face. A breeze and a rough tongue. I opened my eyes and there was Barney, and not alone, he had gentle Rosie with him. They covered me in dog kisses and love. I said out loud, "Did he send me to the farm upstate?" A woman came over. I recognized her. She took my hand and nodded sadly. "I've finally done it," I thought, clipping the device around the trigger of the pistol. "Now if I die, it truly is God's will." The device was simple, relatively. A handful of radioactive atoms and a radiation detector. The amounts had to be precise down to the picogram, so that when you pulled the trigger there was exactly a 50% chance of a particle hitting the detector, meaning exactly a 50% chance of the gun firing. Impossible to predict. Quantumly impossible. I'd thought of a few names for the device. Schrodinger's pistol. Quantum roulette. God's coin flip. But it may not matter. If it works, whoever finds my body can name it. If not, well, I'll cross that bridge once I get to it. I swept my arm across my workbench to lay the pistol down, scattering papers and leftover isotopes. My apartment will probably be uninhabitable for years to come. I looked into the grimy mirror above my workspace, staring into my bloodshot eyes. This was it. Finally, I shall discover if I am meant to be alive. I took a few deep breaths and raised the pistol to the side of my skull. The device hummed quietly. In the mirror I saw tear streaks on my grimy face. I steeled myself and pulled the trigger. I heard nothing but a click. In the mirror, an explosion. My reflection slumped in their seat, but I remained unharmed. I reached my hand out to touch the mirror. My reflection did not move. It simply stayed there, unmoving, their blood, my blood, staining their shirt. I had yet to fully comprehend what had happened. What I had done. Consume, they whisper softly, consume. Of course they have long forgotten the meaning of the word. It is long past the days when such crude methods of indoctrination were necessary. In the beginning the creatures have been forced to repeat the words under threat of draconian punishment, lest they were thinking of forbidden things like birds, flowers, or the outside in general. Now, of course, such punishments are superfluous, and their eternal mantra is merely a joyful affirmation of their new life. They are absolutely devoted to this world now, a world where everything is bright and shiny and everyone is trying to sell them something. And thus, they were not fazed when all news of the outside suddenly ceased, and even when tentacles sprouted from their heads and fused them together with their mobile phones, only a few of them had gone mad. And that was not too bad either, for why would they need reason in a world that posed no intellectual challenges? So they are forever wandering the aisles, reverently fondling the brightly colored wares on display with their claws and suckers. And sometimes, but only sometimes, one of them takes out one thing or another, goes to the checkout and exchanges it there for a small sum of money. After this he will immediately die in agonizing pain, tortured but secure in the knowledge that his purpose in life has been fulfilled. Consume, they whisper softly, consume. Everything is well in their world.